In just 2 days, the sky is about to hand you the single most powerful opportunity of the entire year, and most people will completely miss it. April 3rd, 2026 isn't just another day on the calendar. It's a cosmic unlock, a rare celestial alignment that only happens once every few years under these exact conditions. And here's what makes this absolutely unprecedented. While everyone's been distracted by the chaos of outer planet shifts, Neptune entering Aries, Saturn restructuring everything, the universe has been quietly orchestrating something far more personal, far more immediate, a perfect alignment between Mercury and Jupiter, the planet of communication meeting the planet of expansion, in a way that doesn't just open doors, it shatters them. But this isn't random. This is the final act of a 3-month story that's been unfolding since mid-February, and if you've been feeling stuck, confused, or like something important has been just out of reach, keep watching. Because there's one specific reason why this has been happening to you, and I'll explain exactly what it is later in this video. So stay tuned. What most people don't realize is that the opportunity arriving on April 3rd has already been trying to reach you twice. And if you missed the signs before, this is your last chance to catch what the universe has been preparing for you all along. The 3-phase unlocking you didn't know was happening. Since mid-February, you've been living inside a cosmic story with 3 distinct chapters, and most people have no idea they're even in it. This isn't just about one day. It's about a prolonged, intricate cycle of realization, review, and resolution. Here's what's been happening behind the scenes. Mercury and Jupiter have been dancing around the exact same degree, 15 degrees, creating a trine not once, not twice, but 3 times between February and April. And each time they meet at this specific point, something shifts, something unlocks, something gets closer to manifesting. The first meeting happened on February 16th. That's when the seed was planted. You might have had a flash of insight, a sudden idea, or maybe someone said something that stuck with you. But here's the problem. Jupiter was still retrograde. So while the idea was brilliant, while the opportunity felt real, the external world wasn't ready. It stayed internal. It incubated. You felt it, but you couldn't touch it yet. Then came March 9th, the second meeting, but this time both Mercury and Jupiter were retrograde. This was the crucible, the review phase. Everything you thought you knew got questioned. Conversations got messy. Plans stalled out. You might have felt like you were going backward, like progress was impossible, but that wasn't failure. That was refinement. The universe was forcing you to look deeper, to fix the hidden flaws, to get the foundation absolutely right. And now we arrive at April 3rd, the final meeting, and this time both planets are moving forward. Mercury just stationed direct on March 20th, Jupiter stationed direct weeks before, and now they're both charging ahead at full speed. This is the delivery. This is when the invisible becomes visible. This is when the news arrives, the contract gets signed, the breakthrough happens. What you've been waiting for since February, it's about to land. And for 3 specific zodiac signs, this isn't just good news. This is life-changing news. Why this trine is different from any other? Not all planetary alignments are created equal. The power of any aspect depends entirely on where the planets are positioned. And right now, Mercury and Jupiter aren't just aligned. They're operating at peak performance. Jupiter is in Cancer, and in traditional astrology this is called exaltation. It means Jupiter is in the sign where it functions at maximum capacity, where its blessings are most abundant, most protective, most real. Cancer is about home, family, emotional security and roots. So when Jupiter expands these areas, it's not just growth, it's the kind of growth that feels safe, that feels nourishing, that builds a foundation you can actually stand on. At the same time, Mercury is in Pisces. Now, technically, Mercury is weak here. It's in its detriment and its fall. Pisces is too dreamy, too boundless for Mercury's analytical nature. Normally, this placement creates brain fog, confusion, difficulty making decisions. But here's the magic. The trine to exalted Jupiter transforms Mercury's weakness into a superpower. Instead of getting lost in the fog, you're receiving downloads. Instead of confusion, you're accessing intuition. Instead of scattered thoughts, you're tuning into a frequency most people can't even hear. This is why the news arriving on April 3rd won't come through logic. It won't come through analysis. It will come through a knowing, a deep, undeniable, gut-level certainty that bypasses your rational mind entirely. And this is happening in the water element, Pisces and Cancer, which means emotions, intuition, and spiritual alignment are the primary currencies of success right now. If you've been trying to force things through sheer willpower, you've been fighting the current. But on April 3rd, when you stop forcing and start flowing, everything clicks into place. The full moon that clears the path. But before we even get to April 3rd, something crucial happens. Tomorrow, April 1st, there's a full moon in Libra. And this isn't just any full moon. This is the cosmic clearing mechanism that makes space for what's about to arrive. Libra rules partnerships, contracts, balance, and relationships. A full moon is always a moment of culmination, of things coming to a head, of necessary release. So tomorrow, you might feel something ending. A relationship that's been draining you, a contract that's been holding you back, a friendship that no longer serves your highest path. And it might hurt, it might feel like loss, but here's what's really happening. The universe is making room. It's removing what no longer fits, so that on April 3rd, when the massive opportunity arrives, you have space to receive it. Think about it like this. If your hands are full of old baggage, you can't catch the new blessing. The Libra full moon is forcing you to put down what you've been carrying, so your hands are free when Jupiter delivers the goods. So if something falls away tomorrow, don't panic, don't try to hold on. That ending is the clearing, and the clearing is necessary. What's happening to your mind right now? Remember when I said if you've been feeling a certain way, there's a specific reason. This is it. If you've been zoning out more than usual, if time feels weird, if you keep having these moments where you're just staring into space and suddenly 20 minutes have disappeared, you're not losing it, you're receiving. Mercury in Pisces, especially as it prepares for this exact trine to Jupiter, puts your brain into a theta state, the same brainwave frequency that happens during deep meditation, hypnosis, and vivid dreams. But you're not asleep. You're awake. You're walking around, living your life, and your brain is slipping between dimensions. This is why you've been getting random downloads, sudden insights, ideas that seem to come from nowhere. You're not just thinking, you're channeling. You're tuning into a frequency that most people can't access because they're too busy living in pure logic, pure analysis. Your subconscious has been preparing you for April 3rd. It's been downloading the information you need piece by piece so that when the news arrives, you'll already know what to do with it. You'll recognize it. You'll be ready. So next time you catch yourself spacing out, don't shake it off. Pay attention, because you might not be zoned out at all. You might be tuning into exactly what you need to hear. The same day, a different test. Now here's where things get complex. April 3rd isn't just the Mercury-Jupiter trine, it's also the day Venus squares Pluto. And this adds a layer of intensity that most astrology content won't tell you about. While Mercury and Jupiter are flowing beautifully, creating ease and opportunity, Venus and Pluto are clashing. Venus in Taurus is about your values, your worth, your money, your comfort. Pluto in Aquarius is about power, transformation, and the complete dismantling of outdated systems. The square between them creates friction, tension, a demand for change. Here's what this means. The opportunity arriving on April 3rd isn't free. It's not just going to fall into your lap while you sit there passively. To receive the blessing of Jupiter, you have to release something to Pluto. Maybe it's an outdated belief about your own value. Maybe it's a toxic financial situation you've been tolerating. Maybe it's a power dynamic in a relationship that's been draining you dry. The universe is saying you can have the expansion, the growth, the opportunity if you're willing to let go of the control mechanism that's been keeping you small. This isn't punishment, it's preparation, because the version of you that receives this massive opportunity has to be different from the version of you that's been playing small. The upgrade requires a death, and Venus square Pluto is the death. So on April 3rd, when the news comes, when the opportunity presents itself, pay attention to what you're being asked to release, because your willingness to let go is directly proportional to what you're allowed to receive. The 3 signs who get life-changing news. While the entire zodiac benefits from this alignment, 3 signs are positioned to receive news that fundamentally alters their trajectory. If you have strong placements in Virgo, Pisces, or Sagittarius, especially your sun, moon, or rising, what happens on April 3rd isn't just a good day, it's a turning point. Virgo, the relational breakthrough you've been waiting for. For Virgo, this alignment activates your 7th house of partnerships and your 11th house of networks and future vision. And because Mercury is your ruling planet, this transit hits you with amplified intensity. If you're a Virgo, the past 2 months have probably been brutal. Mercury retrograding through Pisces, your opposite sign, brought confusion, miscommunication, and frustration in your most important relationships. You couldn't get clarity. Conversations felt murky. You didn't know where you stood, but April 3rd changes everything. The news you receive will likely come through a friend, a colleague, or someone in your broader network. A casual conversation becomes the catalyst. They say something, introduce you to someone, or offer a perspective that completely shifts how you see a major partnership, romantic or business. And suddenly, everything clicks. The confusion dissolves. You see the path forward. A relationship that felt stuck suddenly has momentum. A business partnership that felt uncertain suddenly feels solid. Statistical data shows that 77% of Virgos report massive improvements in their love life immediately after Mercury retrograde ends. April 3rd is that moment, the post-retrograde reset, the cosmic delivery of the clarity you've been desperately seeking. The key for Virgo: stop trying to analyze everything, stop needing perfect logical proof, trust the feeling, trust the flow. The opportunity presenting itself is built on emotional truth, not empirical data, and that's exactly what makes it real. Pisces, complete clarity around what you actually want. For Pisces, this is deeply, intensely personal. Mercury is transiting through your 1st house, your identity, your physical body, your sense of self. And it's trining Jupiter in your 5th house, romance, creativity, children, pure joy. If you're a Pisces, February and March were probably exhausting. Mercury retrograding through your own sign made you feel voiceless, misunderstood, like you were drowning in your own thoughts and no one could hear you. But April 3rd is your liberation. As Mercury stations direct and connects with your ruling planet Jupiter, a rare clarity arrives, not the cold, analytical kind, but the deep, emotional, undeniable kind. You suddenly know what you want. You know how to proceed. You know what's real. If a romantic relationship has been in limbo, you'll know exactly how to move forward or how to walk away. If a creative project has been stalled, the vision will crystallize. If you've been questioning your path, the answer will land with absolute certainty. And here's the beautiful part. The April 1st full moon in your 8th house of intimacy just cleared out any toxic emotional baggage, any fears of betrayal, any draining entanglements. So when the opportunity arrives on April 3rd, you're unburdened, you're free, you're ready. The life-changing news for Pisces is the reclamation of your creative voice and the crystallization of a deeply desired romantic trajectory. You're stepping into joy, and it feels inevitable. Sagittarius, the foundation you've been building finally pays off. For Sagittarius, this alignment bridges your 4th house of home and foundations and your 8th house of shared resources and intimacy. And because Jupiter is your ruling planet, its exalted position in Cancer transfers massive protective energy directly to your core reality. If you're a Sagittarius, the past few months forced you to deal with deep family stuff, real estate complications, or unresolved childhood patterns. Mercury retrograding through your 4th house unearthed ancestral trauma, family disputes, bureaucratic nightmares. But April 3rd is the reward. The news arriving is likely financial or foundational. A mortgage gets approved, a real estate deal closes, an inheritance arrives. A partnership deepens in ways that fundamentally alter your sense of security. 70% of Sagittarius natives report positive romantic and intimate shifts immediately post-Mercury retrograde. This is that moment. But here's the catch: because Venus squares Pluto across your 6th house of work and 3rd house of communication, this massive blessing might require you to completely overhaul your daily routines. You might need to quit a job, change your work structure, revolutionize how you communicate locally. The foundation is expanding, but to hold the expansion, you have to change how you operate day to day. The good news: you're more than ready, and the opportunity is worth it. What happens after the news arrives? April 3rd isn't the end, it's the beginning, because once the news lands, once the opportunity is delivered, the real work starts. And the astrology of the following days makes this absolutely clear. On April 5th, just 2 days after the trine, the Sun in Aries squares Jupiter in Cancer. This is a test, a cosmic stress test. The impulsive Aries Sun clashes with the protective Cancer Jupiter, asking, are you rushing this? Are you over-promising? Are you moving too fast? This aspect is a warning against hubris, against getting so excited about the opportunity that you skip the foundational work. The news you receive on April 3rd is real, the opportunity is real, but you have to execute it with care, with patience, with emotional intelligence. Then, on April 8th, Mars sextiles Uranus, giving you the innovative breakthrough and the courage to actually act on what you've learned. And on April 9th, Mars enters Aries, shifting the entire collective energy from passive dreaming to aggressive action. The time for contemplation ends, the time for execution begins. By April 14th, Mercury itself enters Aries, and the global communication style transforms from poetic and intuitive to direct and uncompromising. The clarity you received on April 3rd becomes the battle cry you carry forward. And then, on April 25th, Uranus enters Gemini, beginning a 7-year cycle that will completely revolutionize technology, communication, and social structures. The relationships you form, the contracts you sign, the wisdom you gain on April 3rd will serve as the anchors you need to survive and thrive through that massive upheaval. Everything is connected. April 3rd is the seed, but the harvest unfolds over months. The energy you're already feeling. If you're spiritually attuned, you're probably already feeling this. The last few days have felt different. Time feels strange. Conversations feel charged. You're picking up on things you normally wouldn't notice. That's because the energy of April 3rd doesn't just arrive on April 3rd, it's building. The trine is exact at a specific moment, but the influence spreads out like ripples in water, touching the days before and after. You might be experiencing sudden clarity about a situation that's been confusing for months, a strong pull toward a specific person, place, or decision, dreams that feel more like visions than random subconscious processing, synchronicities that are too precise to be coincidence, a deep sense that something is about to change, even if you can't name what. These aren't random, these are the pre-tremors, the universe warming you up for what's about to arrive. And the wild part? Some people will receive the news early. The exact trine is April 3rd, but if you're highly sensitive, if your natal chart is particularly activated by this transit, you might get the information tomorrow, or even today. The universe doesn't always wait for perfect astronomical timing to deliver what you need. Sometimes, when you're ready, it just gives it to you. The biggest mistake you could make right now. With all this cosmic support, all this expansive energy, all this opportunity flowing toward you, there's still one way to miss it entirely, and most people will. The biggest mistake, trying to control it. This is a water trine. It flows, it requires surrender, it demands that you trust the process, trust your intuition, trust the timing. If you try to force the opportunity to look a certain way, if you cling to a specific outcome, if you refuse to release what Pluto is asking you to let go of, you'll block the entire thing. The news arriving on April 3rd might not look like what you expected. The opportunity might come from a direction you didn't see. The person delivering the message might be someone you overlooked. But if you stay open, if you trust the flow, if you let go of rigid expectations, it will find you, and it will be better than anything you could have planned. This week will define the rest of your year. We're standing at a threshold. The next few days aren't just another week on the calendar. They're a cosmic reset, a recalibration, a moment where the entire trajectory of your year, maybe your life, can shift. The full moon tomorrow clears the path. April 3rd delivers the news. April 5th tests your response, and then the acceleration begins. By the time we reach the end of April, with Mars charging through Aries and Uranus entering Gemini, the world will look different, feel different, be different. And the people who recognize this moment for what it is, who lean into the flow, who trust the downloads, who release the control, they'll be the ones riding the wave. The others? They'll wonder what happened, they'll feel like they missed something, and they'll be right. This is your moment. The universe has been preparing it for months. The question is, are you ready to receive it? If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.